Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. As we look to fertilizer prices, the average retail prices for all 8 major fertilizers continue to be higher than last month during the last full week of April, according to sellers surveyed by DTN. Now, 2 fertilizers had a sizable price increase from last year, which DTN designates as anything 5% or more. The average retail price of UAN 32 was 9% higher compared to last month, and UAN 28 was 7% more expensive than last month. Now, 4 fertilizers are now higher in price compared to 1 year ago. DAP is 1% higher, 1034.0 2% more, UAN 28 4% higher, and UAN 32 is 7% higher looking back 1 year. The remaining 4 fertilizers are lower. MAP and urea are 1% less expensive. Anhydrous is 2% lower, and potash is 9% lower compared to last year at this time. DTN gathers fertilizer price bids from agriculture retailers each week to compile the DTN Fertilizer Index. It first was reporting data back in November of 2008. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Dry weather in Ohio here for your Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your forecast update. I think late today we can see some clouds build in central and southern parts of Ohio. That's going to be an offshoot of some precipitation that's trying to come together in Appalachia all the way down into Georgia. I don't think we see major moisture here, but just keep an eye to the sky as we move towards sunset. Overnight, everything clears out, and we should put together a partly sunny start to Friday before showers move back in from the west. This is a frontal complex that's going to give us rain for tomorrow, right on through tomorrow night. I do still believe it's done before sunrise on Saturday. 1/4 to 3/4 inch rainfall potential across the Buckeye State for your Friday, but sunshine is coming on Saturday. High pressure dominates the Great Lakes for Saturday and Sunday. That gives us beautiful weather, good drying, good evaporation, and we're going to keep that dry weather around into Monday and early Tuesday of next week, so a 4-day stretch of precipitation-free weather here. Once we get to midnight Tuesday night, we have moisture starting to push in from the west, so Tuesday night, Wednesday, anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of precipitation, 100% coverage across Ohio. But flipping the calendar into May, next Thursday, we are sunny and dry again. Even sunny and dry to start Friday the 2nd. Scattered showers overnight the 2nd into the 3rd. Right now, 1/4 of an inch or less, coverage 70%. We follow that up with a dry weekend for the 3rd and 4th. And we keep that dryness around through most of that following week the way it looks right now. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Let's check in with the weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your checkoff dollars at work. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
I'm visiting today with Tom Berry with Clean Fuels Alliance America. Some exciting things going on the demand side when it comes to renewable fuels. Give us an update maybe of some of the neat things that are happening.
New York City is exciting. I mean, they mapped out a decarbonization strategy 20 years ago. What they want to do is electrify what they can, and what they can't, they're going to put biodiesel, renewable diesel in. And that is where they're at today. They have 12,000 diesel vehicles, largest municipal fleet in the country, 100% renewable diesel and biodiesel blends. That includes the FDNY fire department. That includes the police department. The sanitation department. All running on blends of biodiesel, renewable diesel, 100%. And what's neat? They're always looking for the next thing, and so they just implemented renewable diesel into their ferry fleet. The famous Staten Island ferries, the yellow and blue ferry. So they got that program. They're going to do that, and then they're going to go to get bioheat, 100% bioheat in all their schools. So that's when I say 30 years of experience, I've never seen so much opportunity for biodiesel. I truly mean it. It's we need more soybeans because we need the soybean oil to turn it into beautiful biodiesel and sell it to our friends on the East Coast and West Coast.
That's exciting, and it sounds like the sky's the limit. Again, my guest today is Tom Berry. He's with Clean Fuels Alliance America. Tom, thanks so much for the update and for all your work.
You're very welcome, Dusty. Thank you.
And today's update brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff.
And thanks, Dusty. Well, yesterday I was checking in to try to figure out where the reports might be coming from on oil and gas production in Ohio. So I got onto the ODNR site and started playing around, and some quick facts popped up. In 2023, Ohio's natural gas production from shale gas wells accounted for 97% of the state's gross natural gas withdrawals. Overall, natural gas production in Ohio was about 13 times greater in 2023 than in 2013, primarily because of production from shale formations. In 2022, Ohio was the 7th largest ethanol producing state in the nation. In August of 2024, Ohio's 7 ethanol plants had a combined production capacity of about 765 million gallons per year. In 2022, Ohio was the 10th largest coal-consuming state in the nation. 9 times more coal was consumed in Ohio than was produced in the state. And in 2023, Ohio was the nation's 8th largest electricity producer and had a 4th largest electric sales in the nation. Natural gas fueled the largest share of Ohio's in-state net generation since 2019. And in 2023, Ohio was the largest oil producer east of the Mississippi River. These were last updated in October of 2024. Back with more after this.
AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio is your Medicaid plan for more. More benefits, more rewards. We know that good health means more than just seeing a doctor when you're sick. Eligible members can receive extras like home-delivered meals and family essentials, like baby carriers and kids' school supplies. Members can even earn rewards for playing mobile health trivia games. Learn more at AmeriHealthCaritasoh.com and call the Ohio Medicaid Consumer Hotline at 1-800-324-8680 to choose AmeriHealth Caritas Ohio.
Ohio's beef farms run on the protein-packed punch of soybeans. Across the United States, beef operations consume the equivalent of 55 million bushels of soybean meal annually. Soy meal delivers the energy and essential nutrients that help produce top-quality beef for your table. From soybean fields to plates everywhere, soybeans power the farms that feed families. This message brought to you by the Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Oil futures slid Wednesday morning, erasing Tuesday's 2% gain, which followed the U.S. Treasury striking a softer tone on the trade war with China and targeting Iranian energy flows with additional sanctions. The New York MEX traded WTI for May delivery fell 77 cents to $62.90 a barrel, while the ICE Brent for June delivery dropped 79 cents to $66.65. The U.S. dollar index gained 0.205 points, bringing it to 98.895. The U.S. Treasury Department issued additional sanctions aimed at crippling Iranian energy export revenues. 12 companies shipping large quantities of LPG and crude oil were added to the existing sanctions list. Treasury Secretary Bissett on Tuesday called current U.S. tariffs on imports from China unsustainable, and President Trump hinted at lower tariffs. The bullish effect of these statements and of the fresh sanctions was short-lived, with front-month WTI dropping below $63 a barrel Wednesday morning. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on marketing your soybeans to LDC. Now with our market analysis, here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finishing the Wednesday session mixed. We were a little bit lower on corn, a little bit higher on beans, and negative on wheat overall. The markets were mixed, and we saw grains, or I guess we should say cereal grains, the corn and wheat markets sagging, mostly due to favorable Midwest weather. Farmers are advancing their spring seeding relatively quick, especially in the eastern part of the Corn Belt, and I think we string together another pretty doggone nice and warm day for Thursday. And Friday, while we have some moisture, maybe not as heavy as what we were seeing earlier. I think the best shot at rain in the east is coming midday Friday through the overnight Friday night. We are completely dry for both Saturday and Sunday. So The coming rain then starts a soil moisture restoration process across parts of the plains and northwest Midwest. Drier row crop seeding in the east is going to be running out for this weekend, or rather, I should say the end of the week, but coming back as we move through a large chunk of next week. The location and amount of rain that's important to the hard red winter wheat market later this week will be not as impressive on the corn market. Looking at other stories yesterday, old crop soybean futures held a stout number on the Gulf's discount to Brazil. The U.S. will see additional non-Chinese business, and most are raising the estimates for the 24-25 soybean export program to about 1.865 billion bushels. That's about 40 million bushels larger than the current WASDE estimates. A further old crop export hike is possible, which would tug the stocks down below 340 million bushels. That tightening balance sheet is positive for the soy market over the intermediate haul. Brokers estimate that managed money sold about 3,200 wheat contracts yesterday, 4,600 contracts of corn, did buy 4,500 futures on soybeans. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. Back with the markets after this.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
Soybeans are making waves in aquaculture. As a top protein source for fish farming, soy meal is essential for producing sustainable farm-raised fish. With fish farming as the fastest growing food sector, soybeans meet the demand for eco-friendly, nutritious options. From soybean fields to fish farms, soybeans power the farms that feed families. Brought to you by the Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
And before we get to the markets, if we can, let's check into 100 years ago. That's right, 1925. During our White Elephant gift exchange this year, I got the Agricultural Yearbook of 1925, as it was a report from the Secretary of Agriculture to the President of the United States on the status of agriculture in the country. Would you have believed in 1925, the Ohio corn acreage was 3,707,000 acres? What is it this year? The expected acreage is 3,250,000 acres. But I'm going to guess we're going to be hoping for a lot better yield. In 1925, 100 years ago, the average Ohio yield on corn was $48 per bushel. The average wheat in Ohio was 1,598,000 acres in 100 years ago, and the yield per acre in Ohio was 15 bushels per acre. The U.S. corn yield 100 years ago was 28.5. Lots of different numbers, and I'll share some of those with you over the upcoming days. It'll be a lot of fun to talk about how much we've changed on the exact same ground and the exact same environment to live in than what we had 100 years ago. Let's take a look at today's markets, brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Overnight at the open, May corn up 3/4 at 4.72 3/4. December up 1/2 at 4.55. Take it into next year, March of 26, you're up 1/4 cent at 4.68 3/4. Beans mixed with May up 2 1/4 at 10.42 1/2. November new crop down 1/2 cent at 10.27. And January of the new year, down 1 1/4 at 10.38 3/4. Wheat struggles, July down 1/2 at 5.43. September down 3/4 at 5.57 1/2. And December 5.79 3/4, but down 1/2 cent. In livestock at the close, April cattle, $212.70, up $1.32. June was up $1.82 at $208.10. August up $1.42 at $203.87. The May lean hogs down 35 at $91.87. June down 12 cents at $100.15. July hogs up 2 cents at $100.30. August feeder cattle, $292.17, up 92. September up 95 at $291.20. That's the latest look at your markets. Thanks for joining us. If you're planting or doing field work today, please be safe. This is the Ohio AgNet.